Hi, good afternoon. Dan, Midwest Technical Sales. The topic of our discussion today is how to remove a magazine from a Superloader L700 when you don't have any power to release the magazine. You could have a power supply that has gone out on you and all your tapes are stuck in it. You want to send it in for repair. If you send this particular magazine in for repair and you have media stuck in it, the media quite possibly will fall out. And if it falls out, it can bang around a lot of these real sensitive devices here and cause a lot more damage than you originally had. So instructions from Dell and with everybody are pretty straightforward on how to do it, but I think it's important for you to see what you're doing first, okay? If you look at this little white lever here, this is operated by the picker. So with power on, when you say eject left magazine or eject right magazine, it will push this little thing to the side, allow your magazine to get out. When you don't have any power, you can use a number of different things. This is a very thin ruler. If you've got one of these laying around, it's fine. It has to be put in about a 45-degree angle, and the tip of that angle is about 2 inches from the front. And all you do is push this back, and what it does, it retracts that plastic lever and you can pull the magazine out. So I'm not going to stick the magazine all the way in, but you can just see what it looks like, and I'll give you a little bit of a perspective on what you kind of need to do to get it. So you're in this position. Typically there's a bezel on here too, so you want to make sure it's not too fat to get in there. But basically you get in here and I'm releasing that lever and sticking it in about that far at a 45-degree angle. I'm hitting the lever, releasing the lever, and pulling out the magazine. Okay? Now, to pull out the magazine, you don't have to take the cover off. I took the cover off just to kind of show you what it looks like. Another thing is, if you don't have dual magazines in here, sometimes you only have an 8-slot magazine, and you can have an additional 8-slot for a 16-slot. You can pull off this little faceplate and look at this lever release on this side and get a good handle on what you need for the other side. We also, in the shop here, use Formica. Okay? Cut a strip of Formica, stick it in here, and push it in there. If you're sending your drive in for repair, can't quite figure out how to get it out, don't have a thin enough ruler to get in there, don't have a piece of Formica, just put it on your RMA and we'll send you off, in an envelope, a 7-inch piece of Formica. You can get your magazine out and then just send it back to us. That kind of concludes how to get the magazine out. But for some reason, if you have to disassemble this particular unit, and it's disassembled for a reason, for clarity, there are about, I'm going to say, a good 40 screws that screw in the sides, the back, the top, into the picker assembly, and into the front here. And it all stabilizes this entire platform. If you lift this up, how wobbly it can be. And if you didn't have it on a level surface, like so, because you had something on your desk, you put the cover on, and it's not going to work for you because it's not going to be aligned properly. So what one wants to do is to make sure, if you have to take the cover off, maybe you're one of our folks who wants to replace your own power supply. We do it, you can do it, okay? Sell you the power supply, get your other one back. Power supply is underneath here. It's pretty self-explanatory how to get it out, but for that you're going to have to remove the cover. Once you have the cover off, save the screws. If you have rails on here, sometimes they pose a problem because these little devices here have a flat head on them, and they actually hold the rails on the side. Well, you can stick your hand in here and get way back over here, but it's kind of a problem. So what we do for simplicity in our shop is that we just take a piece of Scotch tape and we'll put the Scotch tape over the head on the screw, insert it in the hole where it belongs, and it's good to go. So you can see it's sticking out on the side here. It's held in place, and then gently get your rails back on and then put your nuts on these and your rails will be good to go. These little ears come off on the side here, and you got to have those off as well because those 4 screws hold the top on. So you've got, I think I counted 10 screws here, about 12 screws, 8 screws back here, 10 on this side, plus the 3 rails, so we're up to 30. Okay. The size varies. Some are Phillips head, and others are a T9. T9 Torx, which you'll need for that. And here's some of the Phillips head. I think that's a T10. So you're going to have to use that. In the shop, we use a power driver for it, you know, and we can rapidly get them off and get them back on. You can use a screwdriver. It doesn't make any difference. So that kind of concludes what I have to say. A, if you have to replace the power supply, you have to have the cover off. And B, if you're just going to get the magazines out, you'll need a magazine removal tool, which can be this, or a piece of Formica, or anything else you have laying around. Just don't make it too thick. And you understand the principle. If you forget the principle, and if you only have 8-slot magazine, pull this. It's just a fascia piece out, and you can see what you have to get out on the other side. And oh, by the way, if you're interested in upgrading your 8-slot autoloader to a 16-slot autoloader, so you can double the capacity, we have these magazines for sale, which go on this side, and they increase your capacity, they double your capacity for magazines. And you can just call us for a price on those. They're not too expensive, but it's kind of a nice way to have an 8-slot autoloader, and all of a sudden now you have a 16-slot autoloader. So again, thank you for your time, and love to hear from you.